I always thought my aunt was just concerned about me, until the day I realized her smile hid something far darker. She wasn't looking out for me, she was controlling me, and I almost didn't see it until it was almost too late. I'm Ananya Khanna, 26, living in Mumbai. My aunt, my mother's older sister, has always had this aura, charming, commanding, and a little terrifying without anyone noticing. Growing up, she'd make little comments about how I should behave, who I should be friends with, what my parents should allow me to do. At first, I dismissed it. She's family, right? A little advice never hurt anyone, or so I thought. But when I started dating Arav, everything changed. Initially, it was subtle. She would smile at him, but there was always that flicker in her eyes, a judgment I couldn't ignore. She'd comment, "Are you sure he's serious about your career? Families like ours need someone ambitious. I just worry he might not be ready for the responsibilities that come with someone like you." It didn't make sense at first. Why would she care so much about a boyfriend? But over time, I noticed patterns. She showed up at dinners unannounced, just to check in, and during conversations, she would drop little jabs about Arav's personality, education, and family background. All of it subtle enough to seem like concern, but enough to plant seeds of doubt in my parents' minds. The first real moment that made me question her intentions happened one night after a family lunch. She invited me into the drawing room, all sweetness and smiles, and said, "Ananya, you know I only want what's best. Please remember, inheritance isn't just about money, it's about legacy. Making a poor choice now could ruin everything we've built." Her words were coated in sugar, but the threat underneath was crystal clear. It wasn't about care, it was about control. She was trying to make me doubt myself, doubt Arav, and doubt my ability to make decisions. From that moment, I became hyper-aware of her actions. I started noticing little things. How she subtly interrupted our phone calls, pretending it was casual interest. How she twisted conversations at family dinners to make Arav seem less responsible. How she always asked to review my career plans or financial choices for my own good. I remember lying awake that night, heart pounding, thinking, if I don't do something, she will control my entire life. My love life, my inheritance, everything that belongs to me. She'll turn it into her own game. But confronting her directly felt dangerous. She was cunning. Everyone else in the family adored her, and if I went on the offensive too soon, I risked them believing her over me. I had to be careful. I had to gather proof. I had to watch and wait. I had no idea how far she would go. But deep down, I knew this was just the beginning. And the next time she tried to interfere, I was going to catch her red-handed. I knew my aunt was smart, but I had to find out just how far she would go. And what I discovered in the next few weeks shook me to my core. After that night, I started paying close attention. Every smile, every comment, every helpful suggestion from her suddenly felt loaded with hidden meaning. She wasn't just interfering in my romantic life, she was scheming. The first real proof came during a small family gathering at my parents' place. Arav and I were quietly talking in the corner when I noticed her hovering nearby, pretending to sip tea but listening to every word. Later, she casually mentioned to my mother, "I just don't know if Arav has the patience for Ananya. He seemed distracted today. Families like ours can't take chances with impulsive boys." It was calculated. She twisted a simple conversation into a doubt, and my mother didn't question her. I started realizing just how skilled she was at planting suspicion. Over the next few weeks, I began to notice more signs, anonymous warnings. I started receiving vague messages on my phone, warning me about Arav, almost like she was trying to scare me into ending the relationship. Subtle sabotage. She would rearrange plans so Arav couldn't attend family events or present him in ways that made him look unreliable. Gossip, manipulation. She would whisper stories to other relatives, making them question Arav's character without ever providing proof. It was infuriating, but I reminded myself, anger without action accomplishes nothing. So, I devised a plan. I had to catch her red-handed. I needed proof, not just suspicion. Over the next few days, I started 1. Documenting interactions. Every suspicious comment she made in front of my parents or relatives, I noted it down. 2. Monitoring messages. I discreetly checked for anything she sent to my parents or others about me and Erav. 3. Testing her. I dropped small false hints to see if she would try to interfere again, like exaggerating an imaginary plan Erav had. And sure enough, she took the bait every single time. It was painstaking, but every little action she took added up. The pieces were slowly coming together. I even started feeling a sense of empowerment. I wasn't a helpless niece anymore. I was collecting ammunition. And then one evening, I stumbled upon something that went beyond meddling a secret she had been hiding about my inheritance. That's when I realized the game she was playing wasn't just about my love life. It was about controlling everything I had. I thought my aunt's interference was just about Erav, until I found out she had her eyes on my future, my security, and everything my parents had worked for. A few nights after my covert observations, I was in the living room going through some old family documents my parents had left out while cleaning. That's when I noticed something. A folder labeled Estate Planning Confidential. My curiosity got the better of me, and I peeked inside. Inside were emails, notes, and drafts of messages my aunt had sent to my parents, and the content made my blood run cold. She wasn't just trying to control my love life, she was scheming to redirect my inheritance if I made a poor choice in life. Some of the damning evidence included emails pretending to be legal advice urging my parents to change the will in her favor if I continued seeing Arav. Secret messages warning my parents that I wasn't responsible enough to handle the family estate. Detailed instructions on how to manipulate my choices, making it look like it was for my own good while she gained control. Every word she wrote was calculated, manipulative, and self-serving. I couldn't believe I had been blind to the depth of her plan all these years. That night, my anger mixed with fear. I knew confronting her directly could backfire. She was clever, and the family adored her. But doing nothing wasn't an option. I needed definitive proof that couldn't be twisted or denied. So I started recording her interactions subtly, when she tried to corner me and warn me about Arav, when she made veiled threats about the inheritance, when she whispered to my parents, planting doubt about my life choices. Each recording added another layer of evidence. And I started seeing a pattern. Every action she took was part of a long-term plan to control my decisions through fear and manipulation, using both love and money as levers. I knew I had enough to destroy her web of lies, but I couldn't reveal everything yet. One wrong move, and she could turn the family against me. The next step would require patience, timing, and precision. I had all the proof I needed, but exposing her wasn't going to be simple. My aunt was smart, charming, and manipulative. If I wanted justice, I had to outsmart her at her own game. I spent days thinking about the perfect moment to confront my aunt. It had to be public, in front of people who mattered, where she couldn't twist the truth or gaslight anyone. And then it hit me. My mother's birthday dinner, a gathering where the entire extended family would be present. I started planning meticulously. Every interaction, every conversation, every reaction had to be calculated. This wasn't about humiliating her for the sake of it was about justice and closure. I gathered every piece of proof I had collected. Screenshots of her manipulative texts and messages, recordings of her conversations, including threats and veiled attempts to sabotage my relationship, emails showing her inheritance schemes and attempts to influence my parents. I made multiple copies, organized them chronologically, and even created a small folder for family members to see the timeline of her manipulation. The goal was to make it unarguable, undeniable, and impossible to twist. I quietly informed Erav about my plan. He had been my rock through all of this, and he also had evidence of some messages she had tried to send him to make him doubt me. Having him present would be critical. Together, We rehearsed how to reveal the information calmly but firmly without getting emotional too early. I also subtly hinted to my parents that I wanted to address something important at the dinner without revealing the full extent. I needed them to be ready to listen and observe objectively. I realized this wasn't just about the physical proof, it was about building anticipation. I started dropping subtle comments during casual pre-dinner conversations, praising Arav in front of the family, mentioning how some concerns about inheritance and relationships had come to light recently, smiling innocently when my aunt tried to interject, letting her feel confident that I hadn't realized her schemes yet. The idea was simple. Make her underestimate me. Let her think she was still in control. That way, when the reveal happened, the impact would be explosive. I also had to prepare myself emotionally. Seeing her manipulations exposed would be satisfying, but family drama is messy, I reminded myself. Stay calm, even if she tried to twist the narrative. Focus on the facts, the evidence, and the timeline. Keep Arav and my parents as witnesses to prevent gaslighting. I spent hours going over every potential scenario, imagining how she might react. Charm, denial, guilt-tripping, or outright lying. I planned for all of it. The night of the dinner arrived. My heart was pounding, adrenaline coursing through me. I could see my aunt across the room, perfectly composed, probably thinking she still had the upper hand. She had no idea what was coming. But as I walked in, holding my folder of evidence close, I felt a chill of anticipation and dread. The showdown was about to begin. The moment had come. My aunt smiled at me across the room, completely unaware that the person she thought she controlled was about to turn the tables and expose everything. The dinner had begun, and the room was buzzing with laughter, clinking cutlery, and casual chatter. My parents were seated in the center, Arav by my side, and my aunt was comfortably perched across the room, radiating confidence. She had no idea her carefully constructed web of manipulation was about to unravel. I waited until dessert had been served, ensuring all eyes were attentive but relaxed. Then, I spoke calmly but firmly. There's something important I want everyone to see tonight. It's about choices, trust, and honesty. All eyes turned to me. My aunt raised an eyebrow, her confidence unshaken. I opened my folder and began revealing the first piece of evidence, the screenshots of her manipulative messages to my parents, warning them about Arav. I read them aloud, one by one, making sure everyone understood the subtle ways she twisted facts to make him look bad. The room grew quiet. Next, I played a few recorded conversations, where she attempted to threaten and guilt-trip me over my relationship. Her smile faltered slightly as relatives exchanged glances, stunned at the severity of her words. Finally, I revealed the most damning proof. Emails showing her plan to manipulate my inheritance, framing her attempts as legal advice, and urging my parents to redirect funds in her favor if I made wrong decisions. At that moment, you could see her composure crack, her eyes flicked from my parents to Arav and back to me. She tried to recover, claiming I had fabricated the evidence. But Arav, who had secretly backed up original messages from her phone and emails, stepped in and verified everything. Suddenly, there was no escape. Her lies collapsed under the weight of undeniable proof. The room erupted into whispers. My parents, shocked and angry, confronted her directly. She stammered, attempted charm, and even guilt-tripped for a moment, but it was too late. The family had seen the pattern of manipulation, the recordings, the emails. There was no room left for denial. I watched her confidence crumble. She had spent years trying to control my life, and now every relative knew the truth. My aunt tried to salvage her dignity, but she had lost all credibility. My parents apologized to me for not seeing it sooner. Arav and I could finally speak freely, without fear of interference. My aunt's influence was gone completely. Sitting there, I realized something important. Revenge isn't about anger. It's about justice, clarity, and reclaiming your life. I had exposed the lies, protected my love, and regained my family's trust. The satisfaction wasn't just seeing her humbled, it was knowing I had taken control of my own story. Sometimes, the people closest to you can be your greatest threat, but with patience, courage, and proof, you can turn the tables. And when justice finally lands, it's sweeter than anything else.
Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this, go watch the one of the left and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more tales of triumph over injustice and a saga of ultimate revenge.